Hey guys, it's me, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make your own custom Littlest pet shop. What you're going to need is nail polish remover, a paintbrush, and dotting tools. Dotting tools are sort of optional. I'm sure there's other things you can use in replacement, but dotting tools are the best option, period. For this tutorial, we're going to be making an Easter custom, so you're going to need more pastel-y Eastery colors of nail polish or paint, but I'm using nail polish this time because I'm not exactly sure where my paint is. And nail polish actually works pretty well. And last but not least, you're going to need your pet, which I have with me now is this Cocker Spaniel. I picked one out that wasn't in best condition because I decided I didn't really have anything else to do with it. But of course it doesn't have to be in bad condition, and it can be in bad condition too. So basically any pet you'd like is fine. First, you're going to want to make sure that your pet is washed with soap and water, hot water preferably, and clean as much as you can get it clean, because if not, the paint really just won't stick the same way. And make sure it's completely dry before you start painting on the pet itself. I'm going to start by painting over her nose. Of course, if you think the color will not fully go over the nose without showing its original color through, you can always take the nose off with some nail polish remover, but I'm pretty sure this might go over, so I'm just going to use it real quick to paint over her nose. This is pretty much my pastel-y Eastery purple I picked out. I have a normal size, and the liner is basically the same exact color. So you're going to start small instead of big because you can always add more, but it's harder to take away once you've already put it on the pet. As far as I can tell, the color is coming out a little, let's see, more see-through. So I'm going to get my paintbrush out real quick and see if that will do better. I basically just have a normal-ish paintbrush here that I pretty much use for all my customs that I ever made. Any custom from any toy line. And I don't really dip it in. I rather just let the paint drip off onto the paintbrush and I kind of rub it against it, like so. Make sure you get a good amount on there. So here we have it on the brush itself. I'm gonna paint on the nose now. There we go. And you're gonna kind of just get the middle first and then get around the edges afterwards. Like so. And then you're gonna clean up your lines because not everyone's perfect. And you can usually take like a toothpick and whatnot, but I'm just gonna take my dotting tool here and just kind of scrape around the edges where it didn't come out as clear as I wanted to. And then as you can see, you can still see the black outline. So we're just gonna fix it up real quick. You can use your liner or your dotting tool. I'm gonna try out the liner for this because it's more of a fine tip to it. We're just gonna kind of go around the edge of her nose and try to clear up the lines to make it look more like the whole nose is covered. So I went around the lines again just to clear it up a bit, and we're pretty much done with the nose for now unless you wanted to add more color. But if you did, I would recommend letting it fully dry first, because if not, it's kind of just gonna all blend together and look really weird. Anyways, now we're gonna do her ears, which are easy and hard at the same time. I'm gonna be doing 3 colors: pink, green, and purple. Actually, do you think yellow would look better than green? Yeah, I think I'm gonna do yellow instead of green. I think it's just gonna bring it out a little bit more. But I'm going to start with the purple on the ears. And we're basically, I'm gonna follow the fur line. As you can see, there's basically 3 layers of fur. So I'm just gonna follow those lines on each ear. So let's do this. I'm starting with purple on the top, and you basically just want to get the whole ear from the back to the front to the sides. So you're just gonna take your paintbrush and basically you're just gonna paint it. So while I'm waiting for the first layer of the ear to dry, I'm going to add a little fuzz to her nose, which I have here, just like little flocking powder, which you can get at like craft stores. I got mine from Michael's, so that's where I would look first if there's a Michael's around you. And to do this, I'm just going to add a top coat onto her nose, so I can then put the flocking over it. I'll do this real quick off camera. I'm just gonna see if I dip my paintbrush in here, if any of it will stick on to put onto the nose. Okay, I'm actually just gonna dip her entire nose into the flocking powder itself. And then we're gonna clear up around it real quick. It's basically just glitter around her, so you can clear that up afterwards. And now she has a fuzzy nose. Oh, look how cute that is. I love it. And if you have different flocking colors, you can do this like with every flocking color, but I'm not exactly sure what my other colors are at the moment, so I thought purple would just be fine. And now I'm going to continue on her ear real quick. We're just gonna be following the same thing that we did with the purple on her ear, with pink this time. So let's get to it. I'm using this pink, so let's do this. Now, last but not least, I'm going to be doing the yellow on the bottom of her ear. So, let's get started. We finished one ear, and now I'm starting on the other ear, but with the opposite color, starting from yellow, pink, and purple instead of purple, pink, and yellow. So I'm gonna do that off camera because it's pretty much the same exact thing. So just follow the way we did it on this ear, on the same ear. So I did her other ear, and I'm happy to say I'm really in love with the results on how she looks. But now I'm going to do her paws and her little hair tuft on the top of her head. And I'm going to start with her paws first because I have to hold her head to actually do the paws. So let's get started. When you do the paws, you're going to make sure that you try to stay off of the actual leg itself. And you're just going to try to get only the paw. Always start small because you can always get bigger, but trying to remove paint will always be harder, like I said before. And you're just gonna do it slowly, slowish kind of strokes, and then we're gonna do the bottom. You make sure you don't have enough paint on your brush, or else it's just gonna turn out kind of sticky, and it's gonna have a lot of strokes in the paint itself. I'm going to flock her paw here. Just the purple paws though. Same way I did to her nose. And then you're gonna brush off the extra. Really quick, one sec. Sorry, I forgot to clean my paintbrush off. Always make sure you have your paintbrush clean. I just didn't do that. Okay, and you're gonna take your brush and you're kind of just gonna brush off the extra flocking. And there you go. Now I'm gonna do her other paws. I'm gonna do this one yellow, this one pink, and this one purple. I messed up a tiny bit on the yellow paw, but I'm gonna fix that when it dries with a Q-tip and nail polish remover. I did all of her brown spots with kind of like a wild, colory kind of paint splash theme, and I think it turned out really cute in my opinion. I'm going to let her dry overnight, which you have to do for any custom, and then I will see you back in the morning. Here she is after she sat overnight. It is morning now, and since she only had like one layer of paint on her, I only let her sit one night over. But if you have a lot of layers on a pet, just to be really sure, I would let it sit maybe even 2 nights or 2 days instead of just one, just to make sure it's completely dry. But I'm going to add a top coat to her parts around her eye and just basically all of her spots, and glitter to her ears. You always have to add a top coat after you're done painting because it really helps with it not wearing off of your pet, and it kind of just seals in the design and it makes it more shiny, and all in all it's just a really great option. So make sure you always have a top coat. Just make sure it's a clear top coat. This one looks kind of pink, but it's actually just clear. Anyways, but first I'm going to add glitter to her ears with a selection of glitter I've chosen. So let's get started. Now I'm going to do the same thing to the other ear really quickly off camera, but you're just going to basically be following the same way I did it on this ear. Now I'm going to go over all of her painted spots with a clear top coat. Make sure it's not matte unless you specifically want the spots to be matte, but you can always make that mistake if you don't double check, so make sure it's just a normal top coat. And don't go over the glitter parts until they're dry, of course. But the glitter kind of acts as its own sort of top coat, so you don't really need to go over it again. Anyways, I'm going to get to it, and I'm also going to be putting a top coat on her eyes to make them more glossy, which is of course an optional thing, but I think it does kind of enhance the look of her altogether. But I'm going to be doing this off camera because it's going to take a little while to get all of our painted spots. But yeah, basically it doesn't matter if you really get out of the spots a little bit because it is just see-through top coat, but it will be a little bit more shiny in those spots. So if you don't want any more shine off of her painted areas, then you do not want to put the top coat anywhere besides her painted spots. I have applied top coat and a little bit more glitter to a few parts of her, and now she's ready to dry overnight once more. But before I do, I decided I want to add 3 little dots on each side of her mouth there as like a little kind of freckly kind of thing, and they're going to be purple. So I'm going to do that really quickly, and then she'll be ready to dry overnight. And after letting her dry overnight one more time, she is complete, or he, whichever gender you're working on. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial / custom video, and if you did enjoy and found it helpful, please comment down below, and if you made your own custom, I'd love to see. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.